Hello and welcome back to the third season of What's in a Story, titled Narratives of Nature and Environment of South Asia. I am Lopamutra Moitro, and in this podcast I read the stories from my books as an anthropologist, writer and translator working with popular culture and heritage of India and South Asia. In my podcast here, I read stories from my books which are about folklore, myths and legends of India and South Asia, and I introduce each story with some additional information from different fields of history, archaeology, geology and others, which helps to bring a context to the story. However, it is also important to mention that the information should be studied well and understood within specific socio-cultural, religious, political or historical contexts. Most of these stories from folklore took shape across a wide range of time through centuries. And over a period of time, many features and aspects were added to the narratives, giving the shape that we come across in present times. Thus, before taking these stories as historical proof, one should be careful enough to analyze the historical context of the essence of each story. Let's try to take the positive message through these stories as we proceed with Season 3, the narratives of nature and environment of South Asia. Here, I would like to take the message forward from Season 2 of Water Narratives of South Asia and read stories which speak of the various interactions between man and nature and of stories of preserving and conserving the nature around us. Without the beautiful nature that surrounds us, we will perish sooner or later. And frankly speaking, aren't we already experiencing the grim pictures of what global warming has created all around us? Say, like rampantly cutting down trees, creating havoc across river banks and deltas, or the horrific littering of plastic waste on river banks and beaches, which has only resulted in destroying flora and fauna and choking up so many aquatic lives around us, destroying green covers massively to build concrete structures, polluting fresh water, creating a shortage of drinking water, and the list just seems to go on and on. However, fortunately, many people are also working tirelessly to combat the situation. But it just never seems to be enough. We have already lost a lot of valuable wealth, and it's time to listen to the clarion call, for there is only one earth, and that's all we have. Here's wishing a positive thought is shared through each story of this season, the third season of What's in a Story, titled Narratives of Nature and Environment of South Asia. Follows the story of the next episode in Season 3 of What's in a Story. About today's story, this story is the last one of Season 3 and celebrates a very important occasion connecting environment, nature and the colors of festivals of South Asia. The title of the story is The Pious Fish, and this is from the stories of the Jatakas. The story is specifically from Machha Jataka, number 75, CAF Chariya Pitaka, PTS edition, page 99. The concept of Sachhakriya which is mentioned within the story, can be explained as a declaration of truth regarding one's own virtue and is believed to have miraculous strength of creating a wonder which can benefit one and all. In this story, the righteous Pious Fish makes the declaration of Sachhakriya and is thus blessed by the King of Gods and rainfall. This story also celebrates the occasion of Vesak, which is being celebrated today across India and several of its neighboring countries in South Asia. The concept of the Vesak, celebrated on the day of the full moon in the month of May, the first full moon, is quite sacred to millions of people around the world, and it is believed that Buddha was born on this day. Also, he attained enlightenment on this day, and it was on the day of Vesak that Buddha, in his 80th year, passed away. The United Nations and other United Nations offices also recognizes the day of Vesak, and it is celebrated by communities the world over. About the specific day of the celebration of Vesak, the exact date of Vesak is based on Asian luni-solar calendars and is primarily celebrated in Vesak or Boishak, a month significant both to the traditional Buddhist and Hindu calendars. Hence the name Vesak. In Nepal, considered to be the birth country of Buddha, it is celebrated on the full moon day of Vesak month of the Hindu calendar and is traditionally called Buddha Purnima, the full moon day. Purnima meaning the full moon day in Sanskrit. In Theravada countries following the Buddhist calendar, it falls on Uposatha day, the full moon typically in the 5th or 6th lunar month. Mostly in Sri Lanka, Nepal, India, Bangladesh and Malaysia, Vesak or Buddha Purnima is celebrated on the day of the first full moon in the month of May according to the Gregorian calendar. For other countries using the luni-solar calendar, the date of Vesak or Buddha's birthday varies from year to year in the Gregorian calendar, but generally falls in April or May, and sometimes in leap years it may be celebrated in June. In Bhutan, it is celebrated on the 15th day of the 4th month of the Bhutanese lunar calendar. In Thailand, Laos, Singapore and Indonesia, Vesak is celebrated on the 14th or 15th day of the 4th month in the Chinese lunar calendar. In China, Korea, Vietnam and the Philippines, Buddha's birthday is celebrated on the 8th day of the 4th month in the Chinese lunar calendar. In Japan, Buddha's birthday is observed on the same date but in the Gregorian calendar, that is 8th of April. In Myanmar, Buddha's birthday is celebrated as a full moon of Kasun and is a public holiday. It is celebrated by watering the Bodhi trees and chanting in large pagodas. Music and dance is also performed as part of the celebrations. The day is also referred to by different names locally in different places of South and Southeast Asia, including Thailand, Laos, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Vietnam, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Japan, South Korea and other places. Of course, the celebration is also observed and attended by people of the diaspora living in different parts of the world as well. Incidentally, this festival also brings to mind what we had discussed in the last episode, the last podcast, about the celebration of new life, new beginning through a new traditional agricultural calendar, and thus Vesak also coincides with the celebration of a new beginning, a new agricultural beginning, a new calendar year, and thereby seeking blessings for a fruitful harvesting season ahead, a fruitful year ahead. This is also a time thus to pay respect for the year gone by. This story weaves closely the relation of man with nature and also weaves together ideas of love, friendship, selflessness, and sacrifice. Follows the story of the pious fish from Machha Jataka from my book, How the World Was Born, Wondrous Indian Myths and Legends by Aleph Book Company. The story of the pious fish. This story is believed to have been narrated by Lord Buddha while he was at Jetavanna, recounting the rains he caused to fall as a bodhisattva in one of his previous births. In this particular incarnation, he took the form of a fish in a bright pond near Kosala and Sravasti. There was a severe drought and the Bodhisattva prayed to Pajjunna, the king of gods, for rains. It is also believed that the Bodhisattva's disciples at that time were the other fishes in the pond and Ananda was Pajjunna, the king of the gods. This is a story from the Machha Jataka. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful pond near Kosala and Sravasti. This pond was full of wonderful aquatic plants. The water was clear and clean, and one could see till the very depths of the pond. The waterbed had different types of creepers and flowers of various colors, which rendered a very ethereal look, and there were many plants growing around the banks which made the top of the pond look vivid, bright, and full of life all year round. There were birds and bees all around the banks of the pond, fishes of different colors and sizes, and tortoises, swans, and ducks swam merrily all around. It was such a pretty sight that often passers-by would stop to marvel at the beauty of the impressive water body. In that very pond, there lived a very large fish. He was, however, no ordinary fish, as he was very virtuous, pious, and was also a herbivore. He was known all across the pond as a fish who always followed the right path, took the right decision, and guided one and all in times of distress. The righteous fish was regarded with high esteem by all the fishes and other aquatic animals of the pond. If ever there was a problem, the animals would approach the large fish, and they knew that he would help to find a solution. All around the year, life was beautiful in the pond, and all the plants and animals lived harmoniously. However, difficult times soon arrived. It did not rain for a few days, which stretched on to weeks in the beginning, and this continued for many months. Finally, there was a severe drought everywhere. There was water scarcity all around. All the water bodies were drying up. All the plants were shriveling and drying, and all the animals were searching randomly for even the smallest water hole to have a drink from. It was indeed a very, very grave time. Crops started to dry up, and the agricultural fields lay bare and cracked from the lack of water. Men and animals started to fall sick and die from various diseases and starvation. The flora and the fauna of the little pond was also suffering. The water started to recede. There were patches of mud seen here and there. Many fishes and tortoises started to die and was buried between the sticky mud. The wonderful creepers and the bright flowers all drooped down and faded away. They lay dead across the mud patches of the pond just next to the dead aquatic animals. The vultures found the dead fishes and tortoises, and they started to encircle the pond on a regular basis in search of their food. The large fish was also suffering, but he was more concerned about his fellow aquatic beings dying all around him, including the beautiful plants. His heart was full of compassion. He could not bear to see the devastation around him anymore. He thought to himself, I must save my brethren from complete termination. I must pray to Pajjunna for rain. And thus, he took a bold step. He decided to swim up to the top of the pond to a muddy patch and waded somehow through the mud, dragging himself all along the way. It was getting very difficult to breathe, and he could see the crows sitting on the bare branches of the trees and the vultures flying high above, waiting for their next prey. He knew that he could be hunted upon any time, but he stood firm in his decision. He took a deep breath and kept dragging himself through the mud till he could clearly see the sky above. He looked up at the sky through his ruby-red eyes and expressed a solemn statement of Sachhakriya about perfect goodness with regards to his own virtue and good deeds. And he prayed to Pajjunna, the king of the gods. My heart is sad and heavy to see all the people around me perish. My God Pajjunna, I am praying to you, and yet there is no rainfall. How is it that I have always been a devoted and righteous person and have been praying to you, yet there is no rain? It is customary to prey on another's meat for my kind, and yet I have never harmed another mortal and have survived only on grains of rice as alms given by kind people. This is the truth, and I call upon you to send rains and succor my kinsfolk. And thus he prayed, seeking rainfall to save his brethren from the woe. The Bodhisattva's prayers reached heaven. The king of gods Pajjunna answered his prayers and sent rains across the regions of Kosala and Sravasti. The whole day it kept raining, and gradually over the next few days and weeks the rain brought back everything to life. The ponds and the ditches filled up, trees started to sprout green buds and leaves, and the aquatic plants and animals were relieved to once again breathe normally and find the joy to be at home and in water. Gradually, the pond regained its lost glory, and there was new life once again in the water of the pond. The righteous fish saved the flora and the fauna of not only the little pond but everything else all around.